San Francisco holds massive fight back rally for drag and trans.
Rights. A huge turnout at the Drag Up Fight Back March and rally in San Francisco. Thousands gathered outside City Hall and marched to Union Square to speak out against hate.
We know how to organize, we know how to get loud, and we know how to fight back.
Activist Mahogany, who's also chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party, said people's lives are in danger, and it's important for the community and allies to take a stand.
We have been absolutely horrified to see all of the legislation that is being lodged against our community. Over 400 bills being introduced in the last couple of months that attack trans people's rights, that attack drag queens. It's unacceptable.
There was a huge turnout at the Drag Up Fight Back March and rally in San Francisco Saturday. Thousands gathered outside City Hall and marched to Union Square to speak out against hate. Mahogany, an activist and chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party, said people's lives are in danger and the LGBTQ plus community and allies need to take a stand. She said, quote, "We know how to organize, we know how to get loud, and we know how to fight back," end quote. State Senator Scott Wiener was also at the event. Organizers said drag queens and the trans community are being demonized. This rally was a response to all extreme queer rhetoric. Gabby Burgos-Colón with the Harvey Milk Club said, quote, "Visibility is important. Having space is important. Being able to make decisions for our community, for ourselves, is important. I saw a lot of that today," end quote. Saturday's rally came just days after the death of Helklina, a San Francisco drag icon. Helklina was honored at the event. Many held signs with her picture on it. Kudos to San Francisco for leading the way, right? But we need to do something like this. This needs to be popping up everywhere. My ex-girlfriend was actually at this march, and it was a call to action. And all these wonderful organizations that maybe have never touched trans rights or drag rights, all of a sudden came to the forefront, stating their alliance and stating their allyship. Now is the time to do things like this everywhere. Miami Beach Pride is coming up, and I hope to see things like this spur up all over the country because it's so necessary.
One of the things that I think is interesting in activism is you prove the importance and value of activism when it has absolutely no effect on you at all, and you still do it. San Francisco has not a care in the world in terms of support for the trans community or the drag community, because what is, for example, going on in Tennessee or going on in Florida will not be going on in San Francisco. Yeah. So all of those people that you just watched are out to support people in Tennessee and in Florida. And that is a really tremendous sign of activism.
Well, they have Gavin Newsom, who is gorgeous and such an ally, and gorgeous and such an ally. And
gorgeous. Was gorgeous?
Oh my God. One day I was driving down Market Street and he was going into a place to get coffee, and I was like, "I love you. I would go straight for you."
Calm down.
Totally did. Yeah, he's really, really hot.
I think he's nice.
But again, but then you compare him to Ron DeSantis, who doesn't even see us or hear us or even want to talk to us or want us alive. Yeah. You're right. It means more because they were out there, and it really is not going to affect them like it would us.
I'm curious to what we watched there. West Hollywood over the weekend had we reported on San Francisco, but West Hollywood had a huge protest march. Does it surprise you that we have not seen the same degree of volume flow into the streets here in Florida?
Yes, because we're freaking delusional, okay? It's just like, I don't want to go back to Roe v. Wade, but when that was overturned, I was out in the streets screaming and yelling. And I was looking around to see where the gay boys were, and they were not, okay? And not even a lot of women were out there marching with me. I mean,
that's why it doesn't surprise me.
That's why the delusion is real here. There's something in the freaking water.
You are not surprised.
Nope, unfortunately.
And it just seems to me, not to wag finger or tongue at our own community here in South Florida and in Florida, but what we watched in this last days in Tennessee and Nashville of the two black state house representatives being removed, a democratically elected representatives being removed, and the white woman was not. It seems to me that and she's voiced what she thinks about it. It just seems to me that we're seeing in spades this intersection of black and women and religious faith and drag queens and queer. We're seeing an intersection that we're under attack, and there should be an intersection of all of these communities. but I just don't seem to be seeing it.
I think that there's a few reasons to kind of just unpack a little bit. I mean, for one of the reasons we're not seeing it in Florida, I think, is that Florida has really historically been kind of almost like an incubator for the like what we call the culture wars, which is not really the culture wars, right? Like that is like I feel like that even that term undermines the significance of what's happening. Like telling people that they don't have a right to exist is not about differences in opinion. That's just an infringement on your human rights and human and civil rights. But so Florida has a number of reasons. It has it's the South, but it's also not that. Like it also has this different identity. It's schizophrenic in that way. The Cold War hasn't really ended here. Like there's 100 reasons why Florida looks the way it does. But I always kind of find faith, I think, in Black womanist and feminist thought that says, right, until none of us are free until we are all free. That is in solidarity. This is the reason we have to stand. Like that is, it was disappointing when Roe v. Wade got dismantled and overturned, right? That we didn't see men speaking out, queer, otherwise, right? That is like it's what does that mean if reproductive rights is not part of your agenda? It's not something you believe in. What do you stand for, right? That is that it's the only pathway to liberation is if we actually all stand. I mean, I sound like a book or something, but it's true. Yeah.
Preach.
But and heard loud and clear. But specifically, and to this story about the Drag Up and March rally, in terms of what we see in West Hollywood and we see there in San Francisco, why isn't that going on in Florida? In our LGBTQ community, why isn't it?
Maybe there's still some of that. We are in our little bubble. We're in this protected bubble. We don't feel, I do. I mean, I get it, but I think that a lot of people that live in our community here in South Florida, we feel safe.
Yeah.
Last
there
Wednesday,
are a lot of us.
the amendment in the session basically defined, Faye and I did this story and dissected it extensively. They have created a Supreme Court, an attempt to have the Supreme Court sustain a sexual identification ban on drag queens, period, in Florida.
What?
And
no way to fight it and no way to overturn it or even change the wording.
And we're now 6 days after that amendment is introduced, likely going to be passed by the supermajority, and I hear virtually nothing in the LGBTQ community.
But to that point,
if you're Athena Dion, last week I wouldn't say a drag queen's name, but if you're Athena Dion, I saw Tiffany Fantasia up at the Gay Polo event, and she was spectacular in complete drag.
Always.
And I asked her, what do you think for you and for the Palace? It's too much, it'll go too far, it'll probably not. And every word she was watching, I'm going, wow, I just think you're really getting it wrong in terms of the impact it's going to have. And I'm worried about what's happening for them. And I'm also worried that the number of people that are worried about it are.
It's not
Well, stay worried, Al, because that just seems to, just like what Amy said, I really do think that we're like, these people are delusional. And if we wanted to, even though you think of Florida as horrible as it is, we're down here in this little circle, right? And if we want to only go to gay places and only work at gay organizations and only go to, with gay people and hang out, we could do that 24 hours a day and never see a straight person if we want to. We have that flexibility here with all the different organizations and different places to go to. And people just say, okay, that doesn't include me. That has nothing to do with me. And that's it. Until it hits them right in the face and it'll be too late by then.
I want to give you just an illustration example, because I'm talking to people all over the country. Today, I was in a meeting with Orange County Pride, California. Anaheim, Santa Ana. And we're talking about their event. Their Pride Parade and Festival is the week after ours in Stonewall. And we're talking about, and we are, Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out, is going to support Orange County Pride, especially because of the Magic Kingdom in Anaheim and us jointly supporting in voice in community. And they said in the conversation today, the executive director, that drag queens are the backbone of our Pride event in Orange County, and that we have absolutely no understanding with what we're watching going on in Florida. No understanding of it. And we're talking about it, and I'm realizing, oh my God, they really have no idea other than it's horrible and what can we do to support? And this is coming from 3,000 miles away and 30 miles away from our studio right now. We don't have the same kind of voice.
And to that point, something that really powerful from that video is that they're also the backbone of fighting back. We see Honey Mahogany at the forefront. She's the chair of the Democratic Party, and she's a former RuPaul's Drag Race girl. So we see that that empowerment not only on a stage but also behind the scenes, pushing the envelope.
Yeah. And she's gorgeous, by the way.
Gorgeous.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.